Hello, everyone. My name is Sandy Adams, and I'm your guest host for the Community Spotlight series produced by the McKinsey Banner. Today's presenting sponsor is Tri-County Publishing, located in McKinsey, Tennessee. Tri-County Publishing is the place to get all of your customizable business products, and yes, even those for your personal use. Today, I'm excited to talk with Caitlin Roach. She's the marketing manager for Lifeline Blood Services based in Jackson. Lifeline has served West Tennessee since 1947 and is the sole provider of blood for 20 counties in Tennessee. Lifeline serves 17 hospitals and 14 air ambulances. And Lifeline also maintains two centers, Jackson and Dyersburg, where they send out about 60 mobile units a month across West Tennessee. I have having Caitlin on the show today because Tuesday we're going to be having a big blood drive in McKinsey, right in front of the McKinsey Banner on the town square. And so we're going to be talking about that and a lot of other stuff today. So please welcome Caitlin Roach to the show. Hi, Caitlin. Welcome.
Hey, Sandy. How are you?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for doing this for us today. We're excited about the blood drive coming up on Tuesday. Before we get started in asking us more specific questions, can you give us just a little bit of details about the Tuesday blood drive? Like what time it's going to start and what time it's going to end?
Yeah, so we are going to be out in front of the McKinsey Banner with one of our mobile units on Tuesday from 12 to 5.
Yes, and we're going to talk about a little bit more details about that in just a few minutes. So first, let's talk about what is Lifeline Blood exactly for those that maybe don't know or have never donated blood. What is it exactly?
So we are a nonprofit located centrally in Jackson, but we have a new center in Dyersburg, and then we send out mobile units as well across the 20 counties that we serve, which are all of West Tennessee except for Shelby and Tipton, and then we go across the river to Houston and Humphreys. So, and when I say serve, what I mean is the people that live there or who come in as our volunteer donors, and they donate blood products, and then when we also serve the hospitals and air ambulances that you mentioned, that's where those are located.
Right. And so, and you kind of talked about that just a little bit right then, but what all services do you guys provide?
Yes, we take whole blood, we take plasma, we take platelets, and those are things that are needed. Every 2 seconds, somebody in the U.S. needs blood. So whether it's platelets going to someone that's undergoing chemotherapy, or it's red cells that need to go to someone who's had an accident or is severely anemic or in childbirth and needed that, there's all kinds of needs that in a split second you're going to need blood.
And we were talking about just before the show started that you guys are in great need for blood right now. Is that correct?
We are. I think pandemic fatigue is so real and is having dramatic implications for us and for other blood centers across the country. Probably the fact that we can't get into a lot of industry still to host drives is one of our biggest problems right now. But that and it's people, I think maybe they're not so much afraid to get out now, but they're out of the habit.
Exactly. I think we've all gotten out of habit of doing a lot of things over the past 12, 13, 14 months. When we talk about the blood drive for Tuesday, is there a specific type of blood that you guys are in need of the most?
Well, our favorite blood to see always is O negative because O negative is the universal donor. Any person can receive that. But, O negative, O positive, any A's, any B's. AB is a much more rare. AB positive and negative, they're much more rare, and they are not as useful because they can only go to people that have that type of blood. So with those, we try to encourage, let's talk about platelets or something like that, but that can only be done in the Jackson Center. So that's kind of a down the road experience for people sometimes.
So what if somebody wants to give blood Tuesday, but they don't know their blood type? Is that going to be an issue?
No. And if they've never given, then they'll receive a donor card with their blood type on it, and they'll be able to log into our portal online and see that information. I did not know my type until I donated. So.
I used to know my type. I can't remember what it is. So as we've talked about before, is there an age limit or any health restrictions for giving blood?
You have to be at least 17 and you need to weigh at least 110 pounds. And then after that, there's no maximum age. There are various medications like blood thinners that can
Right.
keep you from being able to give. There's all kinds of things that some of that's on our website. And then, if you've got a question, we encourage people not to self-defer. People think I'm diabetic, I can't give. Well, yeah,
Right.
you can if you're stable. Or I have high blood pressure, I can't give. Well, yeah, you can. So don't say I don't think I can. Or somebody told me I was anemic 10 years ago. Well, that didn't mean you are now. So come give it a chance. Only 5% of eligible donors actually donate blood, and we got to get that number up around here.
Wow, that's a pretty low percentage. So the blood drive on Tuesday, how does one go about giving blood that day? Is there a form you need to fill out? Can you just show up? What exactly are the procedures for Tuesday's blood drive?
Well, you can totally just show up. That's fine. What I do recommend, just to get something out of the way, is that day, it has to be the day that you donate, but that day you go on our website, lifelinebloodserve.org, and fill out your medical questionnaire ahead of time, because that's just one thing you can have done. So, get that out of the way, and then you'll come in. You need to bring a photo ID. You need to have eaten a really good meal at some point, in the few hours prior, and definitely try to be well hydrated. You'll come in with your ID and register, and then you'll do that questionnaire if you haven't already done it, and you'll have a mini physical where we will check your blood pressure, temperature, pulse, and your iron levels. And as long as you're good to go, because we very much care that our donors are healthy and well and able to give, then you'll get in the chair. It'll take 5 to 10 minutes. And after that, you'll have a snack and hang out with us for about 15 minutes to make sure you're well and good to go on your way.
Okay, so let's just pause here for a commercial break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about all the details about giving blood and some of the safety procedures. So
Sounds great.
here's a word from our sponsor. Okay, welcome back. So now you went into, before the break, we talked about the process of how you go and give blood that day, everything that is entailed in that. But what about COVID restrictions and also any safeguards in place that deal with COVID like that?
Yeah, so through this whole pandemic, the need for blood's essential. We haven't stopped, so we have, of course, had to adapt like everyone else.
Right.
So we do require masks. We do have a series of questions that we ask regarding if you've had exposure or symptoms, and check your temperature. Require you to hand sanitize, but and of course sanitize after each donor. So we've got to keep rolling. So we've done what we can do to make it as safe as possible for everyone. Speaking of COVID, if you've been vaccinated, there is no deferral period. So we don't want you to think, I can't give blood, I've gotten this vaccine. Absolutely not. The FDA says that's completely fine. So same with flu shot. Don't self-defer. Once again, there are some vaccines that require a wait period, but COVID and the flu shot are not.
Okay. And a question that I just thought of that I didn't put into the prep work was, we've heard this past week about the Johnson and Johnson and the blood clotting with those 6 individuals, although millions of people have had that vaccine. Will there be any issue with somebody who's had the Johnson and Johnson vaccine possibly not being able to give blood, or is that just kind of out there and not even an issue?
Not to my knowledge, and one thing I've been very impressed. I've only worked here since November, so I've been very impressed with how our quality department stays on top of making sure the staff as a whole is informed when there's going to be any kind of issue, and I have not heard that there is.
Okay, good. So let's talk about people that are maybe afraid of needles and are concerned about diseases being passed on with the use of needles. Can you just kind of talk about your safety precautions when it comes to needle use?
Yes. So, of course, everything that we use comes from a sterile package for its one-time use, and then is discarded immediately into our hazardous waste bins. So, you will actually be stuck just a prick on your finger to check your hemoglobin, and then after that, to your iron levels. After that, you'll actually have the needle in your arm for the donation period, and it's, I say if you have a fear, try to challenge yourself. Don't look at your arm, do something else, play on your phone, talk to the phlebotomist, but try to challenge yourself and say, my momentary discomfort, and I would say discomfort is even a strong word to use. It's not bad, but that momentary discomfort is so worth it when you know that you can be saving up to 3 lives with your blood donation.
That's a good thing to think about. When I've had to have blood drawn, I have purposely looked at the nurse and made them talk to me so that it kind of distracts me from it. But my mom had been a nurse for 20 years, and when she was a nursing school, she had wanted to practice on me, giving me saline solution. I'm like, that's never going to happen. So I'm not thrilled about needles either, but I've just kind of learned to breathe really, really normal, and just make the person or somebody that is away from the where they're taking the blood to talk to me and kind of distract me that way. For all of
that
you.
initial feeling that's more like a pinch than anything. Once that's done, while you're sitting there in the chair, there's nothing. You have no pain. You're not feeling anything. You're just hanging out and making yourself sit still for a few minutes.
That brings up another question. So after they give blood, will they feel bad afterwards? I know that they have to eat something and kind of wait there for a few minutes, but will they feel bad for the rest of the day?
No, I would suggest definitely, you don't want to do it on a day when you're going to, do a bunch of yard work, or you've got some heavy lifting to do, because that can cause some issues with your arm that shouldn't happen. But, usually I feel like after, you might want to take it easy for an hour or so, but then I really go on about my business after that, whatever it is I had planned. I'm not going to go for a run or go work out, but and then we do ask that you not drink any alcohol, because your blood volume is lower for the next 48 hours. So just for everyone's safety, that you kind of can control that. So I just try to tell people, hey, look at your calendar, see what you've got next week, and let me put this down. Let me treat this like I would a dentist appointment or a hair appointment. Like, this is something I'm planning to do.
Right. How much blood do you guys take out of each person?
Well, we take we take for women, our bodies have 9 pints in them, and men have 12. So we take 1. So that blood volume is replenished within 48 hours, but you cannot donate blood except every 8 weeks. And that's because it takes your body that long to build your red cell count back up.
Okay. There's a lot of biology in that.
There is. I've actually been purposely doing a little science lessons, just so I can understand it a little better. What is plasma? What are platelets?
Right. So what about pregnant women? Are they allowed to give blood?
No, pregnant women cannot, but you can give blood 6 weeks after having a natural delivery and 6 months after having a C-section. And you can give blood if you're breastfeeding, as long as you maintain being well hydrated.
Those are good points there. So let's talk about this. Is there anything else that people need to know out there special about the day of for Tuesday?
Now, like we talked about earlier, just making sure that you've kind of done the planning ahead so that you've eaten well and are hydrated, and then, go online and read about it. If it's something you've never done, just familiarize yourself with the process so that, nothing comes out of the way that's unexpected. And then, you'll come and once you're gone, you can know that you did something super selfless that day. And if it's a fear you faced, I would say that deserves a cheeseburger or whatever it is, ice cream, whatever it is you need to celebrate. I'm a big ice cream person for celebration, because you did something great and you challenged a fear, and that's awesome.
I've got the website up right now, Lifeline Blood Serve, SCRV.org, and you can find out more information about that. The event on Tuesday, I'm just going to pop this up right here, is, as you guys can see, I know it's hard to talk about it, but Caitlin, can you just bring out some of the specifics on the flyer that I have up on the screen?
Yeah, so for this particular drive, the first 30 donors are going to receive a plain tater from, I believe it's pronounced Prater's Taters. I'm not from McKenzie, so I'm still getting all that squared away. But I do love potatoes, so that sounds awesome. And then the big thing is, during anyone who gives blood, that gave during March or gives during the month of April, you're entered to win a 4-night trip to the Smokies. That also includes 2 dinners for 2 at the Old Mill Restaurant and Paula Dean's Country Kitchen. So anyone who gives at this particular drive, if you're one of the first 30, you're guaranteed that potato, and then you're entered to win that big trip as well. So we try to keep it fun and keep incentives going to keep people motivated to give.
Those are great, and also to build all that food helps to build up your blood count, right?
Yeah, sure. Potatoes can't hurt a thing. I believe that.
Okay. Any other information that we need to know before we say goodbye to you today?
I just would ask people to treat this as something, kind of like I said earlier, as something that you really need to factor into your regular day-to-day, well, not day-to-day, but month-to-month thing that you do. Right. You can only give blood every 8 weeks. So that means you can give blood 6 times a year. So if you could, even, if you've never done it, think about giving up 30, 45 minutes this first time. But if you can kind of get in the mindset of, I need to do this every couple of months. I did some math the other day, and based on how many units we need to supply those 17 hospitals and 14 air ambulances, we need 525 units collected a week. So that's, over 100 every single weekday. And that's not easy to come by right now. When we have those over 100 days, we get really excited. So blood has a shelf life of 42 days. So right now, we like to keep 142 bags of O positive in this building. One day last week, we had 9. So if there's, people can need it. They don't need just 1 unit. I had a woman come up to me and tell me that she had a car accident in 1985 and received 21 units of blood from that. So, if something like that comes through and, some major accident or shooting, just anything that can cause a major bleed, we're going to wipe out a lot of the stash that we have. So we really need the people of West Tennessee to help us do this for their friends and neighbors and total strangers that are here.
Right. Can I ask you this? So if there was a person was in a hospital and they needed blood, and for some unknown reason there was no blood available for them to have, what would happen then? Where would they go to get the blood?
So we still, that blood is still ours. It's in those hospitals, but it's our product. So we have couriers who are constantly moving around, and it can be day or night. If the right blood is, 2 counties over, then they're going to go drive that blood over there. If it's possible that we can import blood from, Memphis or North Carolina or, wherever we need to get it from, if possible. But, the whole country's having a shortage.
Yes.
So we are just, kind of living on a hope and a prayer that we're not going to get into that situation. And that's why we've got to build that reserve back up.
How do you have a goal for Tuesday's event? Like how many units of blood that you're hoping to get out of that?
Let me say what they've got down. So what the recruiters have down. So they do have 30 as the goal. So, we can take more than that. We can make it happen.
Yeah.
So, the more that come out, the better. And if that's not a good day, go online to our website and look at our calendar to see, every month it's updated to show you what is, where else we're going to be, because we go to 3 different places pretty much every single day. And if it's a public drive, it's going to be on that calendar. So we really, if that Tuesday doesn't work, that's not an excuse. We're always here. We're open Monday to Saturday, 9 to 6 here in Jackson, and we're open in Dyersburg as well. So, we're here. You can't run.
I would like to, you're wanting 30 units. I'd like to challenge everybody in the McKenzie area. Let's see if we can get 50 units for Tuesday. I think that would be Really great. For those that are watching, share this with whoever you know, tell your friends and your neighbors, and let's see if we can't get 50 units for you guys for Tuesday. And that's from 12 to 5 p.m. Just in front of the McKinsey Banner offices, right off the town square. So thank you so much for being with us today. I so appreciate it.
Thank you. This is fun.
And I'm going to say goodbye to you now, and I hope to talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that we see all of you out there on a Tuesday. And if you have any questions, again, you can go to lifelinebloodserve.org. If you're interested in sponsoring an upcoming episode of the Community Spotlight, you can contact Joel Washburn at the McKinsey Banner, and he will be happy to get that going for you. Here we love to share different types of stories, and the whole purpose of the Community Spotlight was to bring you into different areas of the community going forward. And so we have some great ideas coming up, some great interviews coming up, and we hope that you will tune in every week for that. Next week, we don't know who it's going to be yet, but just check back on our Facebook page and we will update you as soon as it comes available. And from all of us here at the McKinsey Banner, I want to say thank you for watching and have a fantastic rest of the day.